Hey, this is Ben.
Hi, Ben. Sorry.
No worries. Totally fine.
So, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Pretty good. Pretty good.
Cool.
You're calling from where?
I'm at New Trier right now. New Trier High School in Winnetka.
In where?
In Winnetka.
Where's that?
That's a suburb of Chicago, actually.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so
All
north
right.
of
Yeah,
Chicago.
so that's why you're 1 hour difference. Okay.
Oh,
Gotcha.
yeah, makes sense.
Yeah. So, you want to talk about distribution?
I would love to talk about distribution. I have a couple of questions here for you.
Okay.
I'm gonna try to go through them sort of quickly because I have to go back to class at 9:25. But
Oh, jeez. Okay.
Yeah, no, totally fine. I can be a little bit late, just a little. So I have a couple sort of basic ones just so we can contextualize this. I should let you know, I'm recording this interview for my final project, if that's okay with you.
Sure.
All right, great. So first question is going to be, what's your name and what's your occupation?
My name is Karl Shefelman, and I'm a filmmaker, writer, director,
Mm-hmm.
and sometimes reluctantly producer, but I try to stay away from that.
Right, I understand.
But I also, to pay the rent, I work as a storyboard artist in the film and television industry in New York.
All right, makes sense. Okay, give me the name of your most recent film you've worked on and a short synopsis of the film.
The most recent one I've directed or worked on?
Directed.
The most recent film I directed was a short film called Memory Box, and it's a haunting story of a son who is dealing with his father who has dementia and trying to get through to him and make him remember things they did together.
All
With
right.
a very surprising twist towards the end of the film.
All right, sounds interesting. So for those of us who don't know, can you explain what the distribution process is?
I'm not an expert, but I have managed to get a
Right.
film distributed. Not that one, but a feature film.
Yeah.
My debut feature film called Looking for the Jackalope.
Right.
It's very difficult these days for indie films to get the whole scenario of going to Sundance and winning and being bought up by A24 or whoever is the odds of that are next to nothing. So it's very difficult to get an indie film distributed in those mainstream routes without celebrity actors. But now there are more and more venues through VOD and online distribution. There are a number of what you can do that yourself, but it's a huge amount of labor. But there are companies that are taking your film and doing that for you. Now, a lot of those companies take advantage and charge upfront fees for advertising, etc. But I managed to find one, and I'm plugging them right now because I think they're great.
Yeah.
Called Indie Rights Movies.
Okay.
And what Indie Rights Movies does, you submit your film. I don't know what their selection process is, but you submit your film, and if they accept it, they will, without any upfront fees, which is key, they will put your film on all the major VOD platforms like Amazon, Vudu, iTunes. They also now have their own Roku channel, which they just started.
Okay.
It's just two people that work really hard, and they're very transparent. They also give you 80% of all your earnings, and they take 20%, which is very standard. The only caveat is that the marketing is really up to you, and marketing these days is largely by social media. but they give you what I call a Bible on how best to utilize Instagram and Facebook and all the social media outlets. The other thing they do on their own expense is represent your film in a booth at the two major markets, the Cannes film market and the American film market.
Mm-hmm.
And what they're doing there, even though they've got you out on the online distribution platforms, is they're trying to sell it to additional territories. There are territories all over the world that you can't necessarily access with your film on Amazon. You have to sell it to the territory. China is one of the big ones.
Right.
So anyways, as you can tell, it's a huge, complicated world, and it's great to find a company like Indie Rights Movies that can that can do all that legwork for you. So as opposed to distributing yourself.
Yeah, definitely. I understand that. Actually, quick side note, is it possible you could get me the contact info of whoever runs Indie Rights Movies? Because they definitely be somebody I'd like to interview.
Absolutely. Yeah, and you could use my name, which would make them like me even more.
Yeah, definitely.
It's Linda Nelson and Michael Madison, and I'll send you their contact information.
Okay.
Do you want me to just email that to you?
Yeah, that'd be fine.
Okay. They are just finishing up the American film market right now.
Okay.
In Santa Monica.
Great.
Yeah. The other thing they do offer also, I forgot to mention this, is they're LA based, and they do offer to have your film screened for 1 week in a major theater in LA, and you get a review by LA Times, and it's sort of a way to launch your film, but you do have to pay for that.
Yeah.
It costs $3,000. You're basically renting the theater.
Gotcha.
But, a lot of people do it. I didn't do it. I was so broke after finishing my film, I didn't do it. And I was also nervous. What if LA Times gives your movie a terrible review? Then that doesn't help you at all. So, there you go. But really, the other thing about the indie film world is the best way to get theatrical release, which is so rare now, is the film festivals. And that's so with my film, I played as many film festivals as I could get into, which are tough to get in. It's tough to get into the good ones with a feature film without a celebrity name in it. It's much easier with short films, but that's it.
All right, makes sense. You actually answered a couple of my other questions there, which is good. So I got the chance to watch Looking for the Jackalope on Amazon Prime, thanks to Indie Rights Movies.
Okay.
Yeah, I definitely enjoyed it. Very interesting concept. I also my mom went to Kenya, and I saw you filmed some stuff there. I vaguely remembered it from a long time ago. So you mentioned you did festival. You did a festival. You ran the festival circuit with that film, and then you put it online through the VOD services. Which one do you think worked out best for you? Did you get more publicity through the festival or for putting it online?
Well, basically what you do is you use the festivals. Everybody wants to get into Sundance or, Toronto but very few films do. Less than 1% of films that are entered get into those festivals. And of course that would give you all sorts of publicity. The smaller festivals, they're really, it's not like they're attended by any industry people or anything like that. It's really just an enthusiastic crowd of people and fellow filmmakers watching your film. But there are some fairly good ones, and if you win awards, then basically you use that as publicity of your film via social media. So you as your film is then up on VOD, then you can say, it won, like my film won Best U.S. Feature at the Austin Revolution Film Festival, which is a decent little festival in Austin. And then you can, also put all your laurels up there and all that from your various festivals. So the festivals themselves, you have to make the publicity out of those festivals on social media.
Got it. That makes sense. So it's you get the films in the festivals to start off, and then you build on that and get people to watch it online.
That's right.
Gotcha. That
That's
makes
right.
sense. Okay. I was looking through your IMDb page and I saw that you wrote and directed your first film, Elysian Fields, back in 1994. I thought so. Part of my project is about the change of distribution from the invention of the internet until now. So I want to know did you pursue distribution for that first film, and if you did, how did you think the process has changed from back then until now?
Well, it was a lot easier, especially for short films. There back in those days, a long time ago. There were international cable networks all over the world that were buying up short films, and it was pretty easy. That film won an award at the NYU Film Festival, and so all the top films from NYU were taken out to LA to screen as a showcase at the Directors Guild, and all of Hollywood was there with representatives looking for good short student films. And I basically got courted for 2 weeks with meetings with Imagine and Karl and Warner Brothers and all that. Unfortunately, and this is something to really keep in mind, I didn't have another script or 10 scripts in my back pocket like I should have when they asked me, what do you want to do next? So it was all great, had a lot of great meetings. They all loved my film, wanted to know what I did next, and then I went home. But what I did get out of that was a distribution company. They were called Tapestry, and they sold it to about 5 or 6. They sold the film to about 5 or 6 international, or like BBC Two bought it. Swedish Television bought it. All the foreign networks were buying short films. That's not so much the case anymore. Short films are kind of a good showpiece to get you attention, but they don't necessarily have the distribution that the feature films do. At least I don't think. I mean, I may be wrong about that. But I didn't. It was easy back then. Plus, I made a good film. I mean, that's the key. If you make a really good film, a lot of this stuff gets a lot easier.
Right.
It seems like common sense, but there's a lot of people making films now, and there's only a few good ones. So it's everybody can make a film, but it doesn't mean you're going to get anywhere with it.
Right. So you're definitely saying there's a lot more oversaturation of the art form in recent years.
Absolutely. It's so saturated. Everyone's making a movie. And I mean, who's it? Coppola said, something like, it'll be great when the mini DV cameras come out, and the digital cameras come out, and everybody and their daughter will be able to go out and make a film. Well, that's true, but rising to the top and getting noticed is even harder now.
Totally.
So you have to have a combination of tenacity and talent. And it's really, really hard out there. It's hard because it's so oversaturated right now.
Yeah.
There's an interview I did for when I was at one festival out in LA, the New Filmmakers of Los Angeles. I did an interview with Movie Maker Magazine, and I can send you the link to that.
Yeah, please do. I'll definitely take a look.
Where I talk about my whole experience of making an indie film without waiting for permission, by crowdfunding and raising my own money and all that.
Yeah, it's really interesting. Definitely.
So you liked the film?
I did. Yeah, that was really interesting. The whole I love like road movies in general, so I love the travel aspect of that. Yeah, it's really. I saw an interview. I don't know if it's the one you were talking about, but I did see one. There was this British guy interview, this young like hipster British guy. He's talking to you about. He mentioned how amazing your cast was. How he
that's the interview.
Yeah, is that the one? Okay, yeah, because I've seen parts of that, but yeah, I totally agree with him. It's great. But send me the link anyways, though. I don't know if I can find it again.
Yeah.
But yeah, definitely.
Okay, I will. Yeah.
Cool. Thank you. I sort of wanted to tackle how big a role the internet has played in distribution, in your opinion. Because definitely, back in 1994, it wasn't really as popular as it is now. Especially, I mean, they didn't have Amazon back then. They didn't have Netflix back then. Do you think that most filmmakers have sort of dove into that, head on, trying to take advantage of that? Or do you think some people have been sort of hesitant about that, trying to go for more of the traditional route?
Well, it takes a whole skill set,
Mm-hmm.
and it takes a lot of work. I mean, especially like people, older people like me
Mm-hmm.
who weren't raised on the internet and weren't internet savvy. You got to learn this whole new skill set, and it takes a lot of work. I mean, I wish I had a team to market my work on the internet. And I mean, there's whole companies now popping up that are replacing ad agencies for to do branding on the internet, and so absolutely yes, the internet is your whole basically advertising system. So it's the learning curve is big, and that's what I like about indie rights movies is they give you a whole Bible on that.
Yeah, that's great.
But I mean, I have reluctance because I didn't set out. I want to be a filmmaker. I don't want to be a branding, a social media branding expert.
Yeah, definitely.
But unfortunately, somebody's got to do it, and that's how you get your film out there, and that's how people watch it. Theatrical release is dead for for art house films or indie films.
Mm-hmm.
It's the middle ground is kind of gone. It's do it yourself distribution, and then it's the big Hollywood blockbusters.
Yeah.
But in between is pretty gone. So I mean, I myself, we all want to see our movie on a big screen, and
Definitely.
again, that's what the film festivals are fun for. But I don't mind people with a nice big screen at home watching my movie. I mean, it's actually how I watch most of my movies, as opposed to going to the theater.
Yeah. Do you think people are more likely to watch an indie film that they haven't necessarily heard of if they watch it online as opposed to in the theater?
Oh, absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean, that way you can dip into it, and if you don't like it, then you can watch something else. I mean, unfortunately, people's attention spans, including my own, have greatly reduced. The theater experience is great, but it's become so expensive, and just the hassle and people talking in the audience and stuff like that. But yeah, I mean, it's kind of working at two ends. It's the saturation is way up, but also the ease of watching stuff has increased. So it's it's kind of one that's kind of canceling the other out.
Mm-hmm.
But in terms of monetizing, making a living as an indie filmmaker, I think I've sort of come to the realization that I'm not going to make a living at this. That's why I have to do my storyboard work, or my day job, as I call it.
Mm-hmm.
Again, everybody wants that tiny percentage of getting discovered as a huge, as a Hollywood director. Not necessarily studio, but,
working for a
well-known director but the thing also, in terms of being a filmmaker, the thing that's saving indie film or blockbuster studio film is those very same online services. Amazon, Hulu, they're all making their own content now, and they are hiring filmmakers. They're hiring directors. They're bringing in talent. So that's another avenue for directors.
Yeah, definitely.
And they're making a huge effort, concerted effort.
Mm-hmm.
And this doesn't help me necessarily, but they're making a huge concerted effort to hire minorities and women,
yeah,
and to diversify. So it's that's opened up a whole new set of opportunities.
totally, and all within like the last 10, 15 years, completely different. It's the whole thing, all within the last 10, 15 years, yeah. You mentioned your day job story. You mentioned
you're breaking up. Sorry.
Oh yeah.
Breaking up.
Yeah, no, the service is kind of strange within the school. Am I good now?
Hello?
You still there?
Yeah.
All right, sorry about that. So yeah, you were talking about your day job storyboarding for larger productions. So I know I write and direct as well. I know
you're going in and out.
Oh
Hello?
no. Yeah, give it a second. Am I good now?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm sort of holding my phone up.
We should have done Skype.
Yeah.
I do a lot of Skype. Yeah, go ahead.
My bad. In the future, maybe.
That's okay.
So yeah, I know you were talking about your day job storyboarding in the past. And I personally, as a writer director myself, I feel like it's kind of infuriating to work on some project you aren't the head of. I know that's not the belief of everyone though, so I wanted to sort of ask you about that. It's not entirely connected to my main thing. I'm just curious. Which one do you prefer? Do you prefer being a cog in a machine, helping that out, or do you prefer being in charge of your set?
I much prefer being in charge of my set. That's why I went to film school.
Definitely.
And by the way, I wouldn't recommend going to film school.
Yeah.
There's so many other ways to learn how to be a filmmaker. You don't need a degree. But anyway, yeah, we all want to be directors. Like I said, I had my chance back there in L.A. at the DGA, but I didn't have a suitcase full of other projects. Yeah, it's infuriating. I mean, some parts of me wish I just worked in a completely non-film related day job. But the money's pretty good working in the industry. You just have to be careful that you don't get sucked into just being, a cog in the wheel. And it is frustrating, especially when I work for people that I know I could do a better job than as a director. I'm literally thinking up shots for directors. I mean, it's like, what's up with that? And it's the story. The good thing about a storyboard for me is I'm sort of not really. I'm sort of out on the perimeter, so I don't have to get involved in the crazy long production hours and stuff like that. If you go into production, like you do the PA route and all that, you're going to get sucked into these ridiculous hours of you're not going to have time or energy to do anything of your own. And with the storyboarding, I get called. I work for however many days they need me to storyboard the action scenes, and then I'm done. And then they go off and shoot it. So it's kind of a nice place for me. I just have to keep my ego in check because someone else is running the show, and it can be tough. It can be tough, but I've learned as much, if not more, storyboarding because I'm part of the filmmaking process. That particular job is I'm literally helping direct, and so I've learned a lot about where to put the camera, how to block a scene, how to read a script and translate it into visuals. So it taught me a lot more than film school did. Film school basically taught me how to use the equipment.
Right.
So, are you planning on going to film school?
I'm definitely looking into it, but I agree that a lot of these film schools, specifically, I'm gonna bash Chapman here.
High school, right?
I am. Yeah, I'm a senior.
Yeah. So
graduating next year.
I mean, I guess what I'm talking about more is these graduate film programs. Like I went to the NYU graduate film program, and that was something I wouldn't recommend to anyone now.
Sure.
But if you're going to college anyway, why not go to a school where you have film courses? I mean, that's perfectly, helpful in my mind if you're already going to college anyway.
Right, that makes sense.
Question?
What's that?
Did that answer your question?
Yeah, definitely. I think that makes it clear for me. I think that's pretty much all I had written down here. Is there anything else you'd like to say about distribution or your experience as a filmmaker that you'd want to be in the project?
Well, really what I said in that interview for Movie Maker magazine is is the most important thing is having stories you want to tell, and just never giving up, but at the same time assessing what talent level you are. I mean, there are unfortunately a lot of Ed Woods out there that are making films, and somebody needs to pull them aside and say, listen, you're making crap. You need to look at films, and there's just you've really got to have a quality gauge within you of your own work that's realistic, and it's tough. It's tough, but that combined with absolute unwillingness to give up, and the constantly coming up with your own stories, your own scripts, or finding a friend that just wants to write, which is very hard to find. Yeah. Everybody wants to direct, and teaming up with someone that wants to write, and knowing what makes a good film. You just watch a lot of films, obviously, and read scripts, and it takes a lot of work to rise to the top.
Yeah, definitely. All right, I think that's all I had for you. If you have any questions,
where are you looking at college, school?
Emerson College is my number one at the moment.
Okay.
Yeah, I love their communication. I actually was there over the summer. I took a 60mm filmmakers program, so they actually had me shooting on 60mm, and Emerson is really friendly with that kind of stuff, way more than any other schools I've seen. So.
Well, that's great. You get a bit of that.
Totally.
That's really great, because the thing that digital has done is create a lot of bad filmmaking.
Yeah.
And following actors around with your camera without any sense of craft. So that's great. And I've looked at some of your work, and you've definitely got something. So
yeah, thank you. I appreciate that.
Be encouraged by that.
Yeah.
All right, Ben. Say what class was your mom in at Kenyon?
I'm not sure. Yeah, I'd have to double check.
I think she was after me, just after me in the 80s sometime.
Slightly, yeah. 80s sounds about right.
Yeah. I graduated in 80, but I'm part of that whole 80s group on Facebook.
Yeah. I'll talk to you about it.
Who, by the way, were one of that 80s group was one of the biggest financiers of my film through crowdfunding.
Okay, great.
It was an amazing resource. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
But well, good luck with everything.
Yeah, thanks. Thank you so much for talking to me. You have any questions about the project, anything, or no?
Do I have any what?
Any questions about the project, what I'm doing with it?
Yeah, where is there a way to, how is it going to be put together?
So the way the project works is it's a junior and senior year combined kind of thing. So for junior year, you write a paper about it, and then senior year, you have the option to either write a paper or do some sort of TED Talk or like do a podcast. I want to do a TED Talk, so I'm going to put this together with a PowerPoint and stand up on stage and explain to everybody how film distribution works.
Oh, okay, yeah. Yeah, my brother did that once. My brother's a professor at FIT, and he did one of those about illustration. So is that something you would have a copy of, like a podcast? Or?
You could definitely send you the PowerPoint, yeah, and I think they're going to record us doing the TED Talk, so if they do, I'll send you that as well.
That would be great. Yeah. So you'll just be using clips out of my interview with it?
That's the goal.
Cool. Great. Are you going to have some visuals, or?
Yeah, we're going to have images, stats, stuff like that. I'm hoping to talk to some people who work in the more Hollywood end of distribution to get some statistics about how theatrical stuff works.
Sure.
But I want to get the independent perspective first.
Yeah. Very good.
Yeah.
All right. Well, best of luck with it, and please do send me anything that you want to send me about that and any of your own work.
All right, I will.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, Ben.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Okay. Have a good day.
Yeah. You too. Bye.